Hi guys, doing the vlog challenge again today. First day back at uni, it was really exciting. Had the one class which was the directing class with Mike McCall, and we have an awesome class. No one which I'm gonna be clashing with, I don't think, at this stage at least, which is really a sigh of relief for me. It's just getting to that stage of uni now where I've bumped enough heads with about up to here with too many people. It's ridiculous how many people I've bumped heads with before either I start killing someone or people start killing me, at this freaking university. It's getting to that stage now. But thank God, in this directing class, it looks like it's going to be a really good time. And I'm looking forward to taking charge of our plays, taking charge of all of the workshops and the rehearsals, bringing our own or my own inspiration to the plays, and really taking it into the direction that I want to show that super objective and that through line action of the narrative, which is something that I've not really explored. So from a directorial point of view, it's really something that I've wanted to do for such a long time. I'm almost sick and tired of acting and having to listen to directors' orders, in the rehearsal process, where whatever I do is never good enough for them, and whatever style of offer, whatever approach that I take to my rehearsal process or my role, scoring the role is always flippantly sort of opposed or metaphorically, I suppose, shown to be different by the opposing way, by the opposing point of view, that, oh, yeah, you did it that way, but I want you to also consider doing it that way. Well, no, you can only choose one way, and I'm kind of getting sick of doing that. I'd like to sort of make my own stamp on where I think the super objective of the plays and the narratives need to go. And yeah, that was a really good chance. I kind of bumped into Jim Maxwell today, who I was going through a bit of a trouble with last night with the rent payment, and I sorted that out today, and I really had a pretty good chat with him, and he basically knew exactly where I was coming from, and he agreed with me, so we got through that one really well. I found that was one of the highlights of the day in terms of dealing with those problems. It could have really turned out a lot worse. I'm glad about that. After class, we went to the first improv show today, the Will Marney show, the improv Fork, Knife and the Stranger. It was really well. I was really concerned that the guys wouldn't be ready, because some of the rehearsals haven't flown as high as we would have liked them to, because we're always looking for, I suppose, moments of greatness in the theatre, and in this particular show, there aren't times when the narrative weaves into each other eloquently and beautifully and meaningfully. It's kind of like a dissection of many different scenes, which sometimes do have relevance to each other and sometimes don't. But overall, it was very funny. It was actually very funny, and that was achieved quite well. I think the audience did enjoy it, and I think when people like Leah come in and walk out with a smile on her face and congratulate the actors and talk to the director and say that she's happy with it, that means that, yeah, you're doing something right, because she has a very critical eye, and I know that from working with her in previous years. Whenever she comes in, she will have a really strong, or critical, I would say, critical opinion of the show. So it was good to see that, and I would really have liked to be in a part of that cast. But unfortunately, I'm not ready at this stage for the reasons which I think I now know. I'm not as creative in terms of forming the words and being as mellifluous, if that is the way to put it, as I would like to have been. And you can see that when you talk. I can see that when I talk to other people in conversation, they're a lot more advanced and sort of forthcoming in the way that they talk to people, and it really shows, and I need to do something about it, and I am making steps towards doing that, so it's coming to be addressed in the things that I'm doing. For example, living with Jim and moving out of home, also in trying to not do as much acting, trying to really go towards the directing side of things and making stories meaningful in terms of not didactic, but semantic. The semantic way of showing super objectives in the plays is really going to come from the director's interpretation of the text and the interpretation of what their idea is and what their concept of the play really is. I mean, when I say semantic, I mean the meaning driven or the meaning derived from that play. That's what I mean. It's meaning. And that's what I think I would like to go towards is the overall picture of meaning, not just the character-based meaning of one character here or two characters there, because that's what the actor's job is and not much more. The actor can't really drive the entire narrative of the entire play. He can only control small parts, 1, 2, or 3 of those characters, but not the entire show, you know. It's funny, at the moment I'm looking at writing, and I started doing some of these writings about the metaphysical way that we look at things, touching on that subject of how one person looks at things. I really look towards this meaning of life concept and what it is to be a human being, and what it is to really take on the challenges of life. And I'd prefer to think of life as being a metaphysical eternal being. Okay, so we can lose our earthly and worldly possessions, but our metaphysical form is eternal and it is forever, right? So you look at, for example, the Garden of Eden, the narrative of Adam and Eve who fell and were banished out from the Garden of Eden because they ate of the forbidden fruit, right? That was a loss. That was a massive loss. They were cast out. They were banished from the Garden of Felicity, right? It was a massive loss. It was not as if to say that they were at the shops and Eve's going to Adam, "Oh, Adam, you know, you've lost the car again. Geez, you always do this. You can't remember where you've parked." You know, that didn't happen. It's not like they lost the car. It's not like the kids were in the car suffocating to death and they lost the kids, right? When they ate from that forbidden fruit, they were banished outside. They were banished to the earth, and they lost their position in the eternal heaven. That was a big thing, right? It's not a loss of material and earthly possessions. It's a really big loss. And I don't know. That's my thoughts on that at the moment. But maybe they will change. Let's see. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.